All right, everyone, welcome back to the Rhonda Swan Show. I'm super excited about today's guest because exactly 2 years ago in 2020, we sat together in this exact same space and had a discussion, a State of the Union address, if you will, about marketing, about businesses. What should be the steps that they take right now to not only excel their business, but also survive and thrive during the pandemic times? Well, now we're coming through, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. So I wanted to bring expert Kim Barrett to the show today. Kim is not only a dear friend of mine, but he's also the CEO and founder of Your Social Voice, which is an online marketing and lead generation agency serving experts and small business owners. Now, over 10 years ago, Kim dedicated his time to becoming a master at marketing and advertising, working with small business owners to grow their businesses' profitability through better marketing strategies. He's not only an expert in Facebook ads and other lead generation methods, but he's also taken his agency from 0 to 100K plus per month in under a year. So I am so excited to have Kim Barrett on the show again, from all the way from Perth, Australia to Bali. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing introduction. I'm always very grateful when I get to spend time with you. So thanks for having me on the show.
I know, I miss you, not only to see you in person, because you're not only a dear friend and a family member, but I tell you, Kim, every time you and I come together, like I get so much K-bombs dropped and wisdom from you that I was really excited just to get you on, this way, even if we have to do it across the seas until you get to Bali.
That's it. Well, fingers crossed I'll be able to get over there soon, because whenever we do chat, it's like I feel like all of us, Brian included,
yep.
We always kind of pull all the goodness out of each other. So it's always good fun.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's get into it. So you and I were just 2 years ago, almost nearly to the date, about maybe a month earlier, had this conversation. So what have you seen that has changed from 2020? Like, what were some of the steps that you took to help businesses grow? And where are we at right now in 2022 when it comes to where our businesses should be placing our money? Should we be doubling down? Like, where do you think's happened in these last 2 years, and where should we go now?
I mean, the big one I would just firstly say to all business owners, like, if you are still running a business, like, congratulations. Yeah. Like, so many businesses fell over in that period of time. And it's like, it's crazy the amount of businesses. I was chatting with a guy yesterday that we helped, and it's like, now like they literally stated the ability for them to go online and generate leads and sales was literally the difference between their business going bankrupt and falling over, and actually now still being a thriving business. So first of all, if you survived everything, like, congratulations. And second, I hope and I would assume that you would have had to make some sort of adjustment towards being online. Which is where most people have gone. And in that period of time, the craziness of things that have changed, like the platform like TikTok, for example, being going from strength to strength and growing and growing and growing, and now having a really big ads network of itself as well, has been pretty crazy over that period of time. So the thing that I would encourage all business owners to remember is that it still comes down to fundamentals, i.e. your offer, who your audience is, and what you have to articulate about it, i.e. the copy, the words that you say around it as well. That's still the most important thing, because if you have a business, you're probably getting hit with ads from all different places where you'll see Facebook's dead, YouTube's dead, TikTok's where you should be, TikTok's not where you should be, all these different mechanisms and things that people like to talk about. However, if you are a business owner who can still concisely understand who your audience is and talk to them, you can win. However, the big one is the context of the conversation and how empathetic I believe you are is what is a big driver and a big difference point, because going back 2 years to now, like, you have to really take into consideration. Some people kind of try to push through. Yeah. They were just like, no, like blinkers on, like, nah, don't worry about all the problems, like still trying to push the same way they would have a year before that for business and for sales, versus now it's like you do have to be and have that level of empathy around businesses and where they're at, and help them understand how you can help them move forward, take the next step,
well,
move to the
I mean, I love this conversation, Kim, because it does come down to the fundamentals. I mean, like, if I remember there's a quote that says, the business that will win, or the one that will win, is the one that knows how to articulate what they do, how they do it, to their client better than the other. I mean, and that, so many people think, oh, it's like rocket science. In reality, no, it's like know your product so well and be able to articulate how you're gonna solve their problems, and then you'll win. So what happened differently then? Because you said something in the beginning that one of your clients, the very difference of them surviving or dying was that they learned how to place ads and have really quality copy. Is that still now, like, would you suggest people like start still putting money into Facebook ads? Like, where is like the main space where people should be really focusing on right now for lead generation and growth?
Well, so the big reminder I'll give to everyone is like, when I say Facebook ads, please remember that includes Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, DMs, and also WhatsApp now as well. So there is like a kind of a whole suite that Facebook ads covers. For me, bang for buck and quality is still Facebook. I've started playing with TikTok, with YouTube, all those sorts of things. And I think if your business is at a certain scale where like you can't get any more from one of those platforms, then by all means, like add on several others. But I think if you can use Facebook, the Facebook suite, or Meta as it's now called as well, using the Meta suite as the place to cut your teeth, to learn about your audience, to understand, I still think it's the fastest and best way to get feedback and to figure things out. Because if you were a business that hadn't run anything online and then just say you're going to go straight into YouTube or to TikTok or something like that, it's pretty hard to get right, because you have so much that you have to be able to dial in when it comes to like TikTok, because it's all video based, and you have to get the perfect video to talk to that audience and understand it. And to me, the ability to still test the messaging to make sure that your niche, your offer, your copy are all correct, still, I think Facebook is the way to go. And because so many people have been getting freaked out about it, and they have been getting kind of stressed out about it, and they've been bouncing on different platforms, it just means that if you're good at articulating what you do, like you mentioned before, better than anyone else, you can understand their fears, thoughts, frustrations, what keeps them up at night, you still have the best chance to win. Like a friend of mine, I saw her do a post in last month. She's got, I think, 1,500 leads at less than $4 a lead, including phone numbers, because she was able to have that real specific conversation, able to articulate what she does better than anyone else. And, she's off to the races and winning. So there's still cheap leads, even though that's not always a goal. It's more about like what leads actually come through that are quality for your business. But all in all, it's still pretty solid from that perspective. So I'm still a Meta or Facebook fanboy.
Well, I mean, same. I mean, it's like, this is where we have the most data, right? So when I look at, like, for instance, anyone that's ever seen any of my stuff, it's because Kim has run our ads. Like, Kim's agency has worked with our company, the Unstoppable Branding Agency, with any of my events. He speaks at every one of my events. We've always double down and really keep our focus in ad spend and continuing to spend money on ads. And in the last couple of years, there's a lot more eyeballs, right? And a lot more people, Kim, would you say, just completely stopped running ads? I mean, it got a lot, it seemed like it did. Well, let me ask you, did it seemingly get more competitive because there was more eyeballs and more people on, or did it become a lot more targeted? Like, because I know a lot of people are going, what do I do? Should I, maybe it's dead, right? Or should I move to a different platform? We focused a lot of our efforts in Instagram, because that's really where I was focusing on my platform. But we didn't slow down. I mean, I doubled the investment that I was making. And even though there was a lot more people competing for it, we did those massive DM campaigns. I got over 10,000 people to our summit. We spent maybe $4,000 on that. Like, so these are the kind of things that I think people are looking for. Like, where do I go next? Do I double down? Right? So
I think if you have the right process in place, it would be foolish not to double down.
Yeah.
And that's like, but that's why you do need to have that niche offer and copy in place. Like you mentioned, like with the summit that you guys have had, or any of the other components that you guys run, it's like, we know that we can double down because we know that it's a good offer. Mm-hmm. We know that it's what people want, and we know the audience for it. Like when we ran the ads for that summit, like those ads killed it. Yeah. But it's because we had video from you, copy that I wrote that was basically just from the words that you said. We had the right audience. They wanted to be a part of it, so it worked really well. So it was easy to scale the spend on it. But I think what some people do is they try something, they get it working, or works a little bit, then it stops working.
Yeah.
There's a competition, things like that. And then what they do is, as opposed to being like, imagine if that was a car and you're driving down, if your car had a pop tire or something went wrong with the engine, you don't completely scrap the car and go buy a new car. But that's what people do with their marketing. They're like, oh, that funnel doesn't work anymore. Get rid of it. Like, run it off the road. And it's like, well, no, it was a perfectly good car. It was a perfectly good offer. Something changed. What changed? Niche, offer, or copy? Like, which of those three things do we need to adjust? Because there are definitely certain elements where it's like fatigue of the marketplace of seeing the same thing. But most of the time, we don't reach that, especially if you're someone who has an online brand that is scalable around, for most people, around the state or the country. In the US, like even scalable around the state, like one state in America has more people than the entirety of Australia. You know, so there's
California.
there's huge possibility for that. And it's like, if we can not hit the maximum being that we market in Australia, like anyone marketing in the US or otherwise, like they're barely going to hit the max level from that perspective.
Well, yeah. Okay. So this is what I really like the most is that, you know, when I'm hearing this from you, like before, you know, we met, I was trying to figure things out, and, you know, I was able to figure kind of out what my audiences are. But I think now more than ever, like if businesses really want to nail it down, they actually need someone that's an expert. There's so many shifts and changes in the marketplace that I don't even tap into Business Manager anymore. I don't even want to go in there, because I want you guys to take over that role, because the shifts that are constantly happening. Do you see that more with, you know, businesses that are afraid to like give money to an agency to do the work, that they're losing a lot more money because they're trying to do it themselves and they're missing on their targeting?
100%. And it's not even targeting, it's placement. It's also because we have to remember that Facebook is a business, and much like any other business, like there are rewards available if you operate within the parameters that they have.
Yeah.
But a lot of people will be like, I do this way. And it's like, great. Well, did you know that potentially Facebook could give you back 10% of the spend that you have if you just adjust the way that you play the game within their parameters slightly? So, you know, we have a direct rep at Facebook, not a marketing expert, but someone who's actually part of the business growth for agencies division. And whenever we have, we do a quarterly review with them, we do a monthly review on all our client accounts, and they literally give us probably a 30, 40 page breakdown on all the clients. And they go, hey, this is what we would recommend you do here. And if you do this means that this client would qualify for these sorts of like rewards and benefit. Or also we can see that this client has a drop off here. Have you thought about like doing this sort of different creative and blah, 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 and fixing these things, which you don't get unless your business is spending itself $1 million to $2 million a month. You won't be able to get that sort of insight from Facebook.
Yeah. So this is so there's a huge benefit for your working with your agency. So you do then done for you services for like, who would you say like is your ideal client that you can really help scale? Because I know, like, especially my audience, like, you know, I work with a lot of women and they don't want to understand the marketing side, you know, so like having a complete done for you service with an agency that you can trust, to me, it's like priceless. I'll spend as much money as I need to invest in that. So I know that I'm confident with it.
Our perfect person is someone who falls into me personally, I categorize Facebook as having almost 3 categories. There's awareness, people like that might have a bricks and mortar store where they just want awareness in the local area about their business. Then there's e-commerce, which is like, hey, I sell blue light blocking glasses and I want to make more sales from that perspective. And then there's lead generation, where people are interested in generating leads to whether they have a sales conversation, take them through a sales pipeline and funnel from that perspective. That's my ideal type of person, is someone that's happy to do that. And we work with, as you said, the likes of your business to the second largest building company in Australia to the local gyms and Pilates studios, because all of them fall in the category of lead generation.
Yeah.
We play a little bit with e-commerce and just really for most of the time for fun. So we really try not to go down that route, because each one of those different categories of those 3 need a specialist in that area. Because again, people go, oh, you do Facebook ads, so you could sell this or do this. And I'm like, I could, but that's a whole other area of expertise. And you see it all the time where people put up a post. They're like, oh, I want a marketing person who can write all my emails, write all my copy, be a high level designer. and also help me get featured in articles and publications and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that is like going, I want a plumber who also can install PowerPoints for me. And while you're there, do you mind putting up a new brick fence?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's so stupid.
But this is what happens. Like I see this too. You can tell the way people are marketing, and this is why, you know, having like such a done for you service that you guys offer. So do you then do, because I know like when I'm speaking like for the women that I work with, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to put a funnel together, let alone, you know, get it into the process to even run an ad, right? So they're doing a lot of stuff manually. So if someone were to work with you, then do you help them like put together the right lead generation, you know, funnel system into then starting to run their ads?
Yeah, so we work basically end to end. Like our goal is, because we know that if someone's already not going to be not wanting to run their ads, they're highly unlikely for me to go, hey, can you go and build a funnel, or can you put in a 3-part email sequence? Like it's highly unlikely. So our goal is to get from the awareness stage where someone sees you on Facebook to the stage where they're booking in a call with you, or, you know, they're taking whatever, you might have a low barrier to entry product or something like that. Like that's our goal, is to get them to that stage. And then even as well, we've even for some clients taken on to the point of going, well, we actually consult even when we'll go and listen to some of their sales calls, because we only continue to get paid if our clients continue to get paid and grow their businesses. So for us, that's our big goal. Like we have clients, obviously we do it for them, and we teach people as well. And when they're like, oh, like I'm getting all these leads, but nothing's happened, I'm like, cool, send me your sales call. Like send me a recording and I'll go through it with my sales team and we'll assess it. And we'll be like, hey, you probably maybe shouldn't have said these certain things here, or you didn't actually even ask them for the sale, or whatever it might be. Because our whole ethos is that when you win, we win. It's like Zig Ziglar is my favorite quote ever, which is like, if you help enough people get what they want, you will get everything that you want. And that's what we base our results and our business off of, is how do we help people get what they want? And we don't stop where they're like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, it's you just suck at sales. It's like, well, no, well, let's look at that. Or you know, you just didn't follow up. It's like, well, let's install a follow-up sequence to your CRM to make sure that happens. This is
really big, Kim. So everyone needs to hear this. Like, because this is not only a full concept of looking at your business, but looking at where you're gapping in the communication, in your sales, in your ad copy, in your funnels, all the way to running ads. Like that's a pretty big done for you service, Kim, because like even our company in the past, we've looked at hiring just a salesperson, right, to help us, you know, carve out or make our sales better. Just a funnel team, just having ads run. That gets really expensive, but more importantly, it's like a puzzle piece, a beautiful puzzle, all just disjointed and not really actually connecting. And the moment you miss one of those pieces, then you're wondering why nothing's working. And I think I see this all of the time. Women and small business owners, they're trying to do their best. They save a little bit of money by trying to piece it together, but in reality, they're losing on the big end. So the service that you guys offer is major. I mean, I'm promoting Kim because we use their company for the last 6-7 years because of this exact reason, the full concept of how they work. So Kim, are you running any like specials that you guys are doing right now? Like how does my audience say, okay, how do I learn more about your social voice? Where do they find you? I know you do a lot of online training as well that they can get.
Yeah, so obviously similar to yourself, like I try and be good on Instagram. I'm a mere fry in the world of fish when it comes to Rhonda. She's a barracuda. I'm just little baby fish on the world of Instagram. So so Instagram is definitely a good spot to find me.
Yeah.
We also have a Facebook group where we do a ton of free content and training, which is www.joinmygroup.com.au. I thought that was a cool URL to buy, so I bought that. And then hit me up on there. And it's like we believe in like preeminence, which is a big strategy from Jay Abraham. So if you message us and say, hey, this is what I want to do, if we can't and won't do that, like I will tell you the best person in the world to do that, because we believe that, you know, every person should get the best for their business. So that's one of our big ethoses at Your Social Voice.
I love it. And Kim, I got to ask you this, you know, let's just be honest. What is your favorite red wine and where is it from?
Well, I mean, look, normally I would say it's probably the same as Rhonda's, which is a delicious Cab Sav drop from down south, Margaret River, which is 3 hours from Perth. But I found some pretty good new Cab Savs, and so I'm gonna, when I come to Bali, I don't know how, but I'm gonna have to bring over at least 10 bottles to all the different ones to try and get it in there.
Or we just have to come to Margaret River because that is still my favorite region in the world for drinking amazing red wine. We've had many days and nights of red wine drinking, conversations about marketing, and how can we, change the world with our gifts. Kim, I love you so much. I miss you dearly. Cannot wait to see you soon. Thank you so much. So what we want all of you to do is make sure that you will have all the links down below so that you can make sure that you go and look at what Your Social Voice is all about. Reach out to Kim. Their team is unbelievable. And I always want to not only bring the best stories and advice here on the show, but also recommend to you the best services for your business, for your life, so you can grow and reach the goals that you want. So thanks for being here, Kim. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Cheers, everyone. Be unstoppable and stay wild.